Food was a coping mechanism. It was a way to manage stress, to numb pain, to fill an emptiness inside. Welcome back, podcast land. Welcome back, listeners. Good to have you here with us again. I'm Yaden, and my illustrious co-host, Matt Sinkovitz, coming at you again for another week, talking about addiction recovery, the recovery from porn addiction, and what it takes to build real recovery and real sobriety for a life of freedom, right? The boot camp, we don't call the boot camp the liberation boot camp for nothing. It's because breaking those shackles so that we can go from, wait for it, from porn to purpose. Good to see you, Matt. Good to have you here. Good to be here with you.
Good to be here, Yaden. Thank you.
So, guys, today we want to talk about some pop culture stuff, because talking about current events, one, it's interesting, and two, oftentimes there are these correlations to the recovery journey. I don't know if you're out there listening, if you have Netflix and you like documentaries, take a look at the new Netflix docuseries. It was just released like a week ago. It's called Fit for TV. It's this documentary of the television show The Biggest Loser. If you're out there listening, if you're under the age of 30, you might not remember it, but I remember The Biggest Loser. I remember watching it on TV, watching people lose weight, doing exercises, doing challenges like, oh, this is cool. These people are losing weight. But on this documentary series, it pulls back the curtain. It shows us something deeper, how food isn't just about eating. For so many of those contestants, food was a coping mechanism. It was a way to manage stress, to numb pain, to fill an emptiness inside. And while we're talking today, we want to make this parallel, because what food is for a food addict, porn has become for so many of us, right? We say it all the time. You don't have a porn problem, you have a pain problem, and porn is the pill you take for the pain. With food addiction, you don't have a food problem, you have a pain problem, and food is the pill that you take. Whatever the addiction is the pill you take to numb the pain, to fill the emptiness inside. It's not really about the food. It's not really about the porn. They're both symptoms of something bigger, something happening beneath the surface. If you think about it, when life gets overwhelming, when the loneliness hits, when rejection stings, some of us turn to ice cream or fast food or donuts. Others pull out the phone in our pocket, turn to a screen. Different behaviors, the same root issue: escape, comfort, quick hit of relief, the quick dopamine hit, the hit that, as Dr. Eddie Caparucci says, and I love to quote, it almost works. But just like a lot of the Biggest Loser contestants discover, quick fixes don't last. Crash diets don't solve the pain. Working out 8 hours a day, burning 6,000 calories doesn't create lasting results. White-knuckling abstinence from food or porn doesn't heal the wounds. And if we don't deal with the root, we'll always find another way to cope. So today we want to explore this parallel between food and porn, how recovery is less about restriction and more about transformation, shifting our identity and finding healthier ways to deal with life's pain. So let's dig into it. Matt, I know you don't have Netflix yet.
I have.
But have you heard of this documentary series yet? I just watched it. I binge watched it this past week. It was 3 episodes, like 30 minutes each. So, I'm watching it while I'm washing the dishes and stuff like that.
I'm familiar with it, but I've not dug in personally.
Yeah. So what I loved, and man, the show was amazing. An excellent documentary. Also, I loved watching The Biggest Loser, but it punches you in the face right off the rip. I'm watching the first episode, and there's the voiceover saying, "Hi, I think his name is Ryan. My name is Ryan. I was the winner of season 7 of The Biggest Loser, and I have the award of losing the most weight as a percentage." He lost over 50% of his body weight on the show, and he won that season. He went from like 460 pounds to 230 pounds. And he's talking, you hear the voiceover talking about this. He's like, At the end of the show, I was at this weight. I thought I had it figured out. And then it cuts to him present day. And he's sitting in a chair. And if anything, he's heavier than he was when he started the show. And his voice comes back in. He's like, obviously, I didn't have it all figured out. And the analogy from like losing weight, food addiction, and sobriety from porn and porn addiction, the analogies write themselves. He talked about sitting outside of a donut shop, eating donuts, knowing that the donuts would salve the emotional pain. He would feel better eating the donuts about himself and then moving on with his life. And how many times have I been in that space with porn where I'm feeling bad and I don't have anything else. I don't know how to cope with this in a healthy way. Pull out my phone and type in the address and use porn to cope with the emotional pain of life, right? I know that's how we do. We use this as a coping mechanism. What are your thoughts?
I can relate big time, man. I always said, like, I felt like my relationship with food, my relationship with porn, they're like brother and sister or cousins or something like that. They're closely related.
Yeah.
I noticed the way that I crave food is similar to the way that I experience cravings around pornography. I recognize that it hits me in a similar place in my body, like in my gut and kind of like my lower chakra area, you know, like kind of my sex center, if you will. And I noticed also that I even fantasize about food in a similar way that I would fantasize for pornography. And to your point, that salve, I notice I reach for porn in a similar way I might reach for food to medicate what's going on inside of me, Yaden. So, food is a big part of my journey, as you well know, as I've shared a lot here on the podcast. And so I relate to this a lot.
Oh, man. Yeah. I know for me, food was part of my coping mechanism over the course of my life. I struggled with weight. For a huge portion of my life, I struggled with weight, and I'd like, and part of me is like, well, I know diets are bad for me, so I'm not going to go on a diet. But I never really did any unpacking of like, well, why do I have an unhealthy relationship with food? How do I have a healthy relationship with food? Can't talk today. Sorry, y'all. And then for me, with my food journey, a couple of things happened. Not unlike my journey with porn and how I found recovery from porn. With food, my story was, I was trying to be good in college. I weighed about, 180 pounds when I was in college. Probably weighed 200 pounds when I got married. And stop me if you've heard this one. Actually, don't stop me if this is familiar. So my birthday is coming up next month, September 6th. And after I got married, I would step on the scale the day before my birthday and be like, oh, great. I gained another 10 pounds. And then I'd be like, this is the year. This is my year. I'm 25 and I'm going to eat salad and eat healthy. No more pizza, no more beer, no more burritos. Just eat vegetables until I get to my healthy weight. That would last a week, maybe. And then I go right back to eating a burrito, literally the size of my forearm, because I lived in El Paso, Texas. And right back to the Costco pizza and a 6-pack of beer. And then again, I'd get on the scale New Year's Eve, right? The night before, it's a new year. Night before my new year for my birthday, the night before the new calendar, I'd be like, step on the scale. I'm like, still here. This is the year. And again, I would white knuckle for a week and then fall off. And that happened year after year after year. Every year I was just going up 10 pounds. And then an amazing thing happened. We were expecting our second son. He's 15 now. He just turned 15 in May. So we were expecting son number 15. And we had all of our kids born at home with a midwife just to make people feel uncomfortable. which is hilarious. So we had our kids born at home with midwives, and our midwife with our first son was our midwife with our second son. Our midwife, Katia Lamone, amazing woman. And if you looked at her, you would look like, oh yeah, she looks like a midwife. She was probably 350 pounds when she was working with us when William was born. William is 17. So 17 years ago, Katia was our midwife. She would come for the prenatal visits. And then an interesting thing happened when we were expecting baby number 2, Phineas. Every month she came for a prenatal visit for 9 months. Every month she'd show up and be like, I lost 10 more pounds. And I'd be like, hooray for you. Some of us are still stuck here in reality where that doesn't happen. But I watched this woman change her life over the course of 9 months, losing 100 pounds. And I realized 2 things. One, this must be different than a diet, because nobody goes on a diet for 9 months. This is some sort of lifestyle change that this woman has done. And 2, I saw somebody changing their life successfully, so I could see that hope component. The only missing component was me. And I remember that summer, let's see, right after Phineas was born, I think maybe right around the time when Phineas was born, I stepped on the scale, the heaviest I'd ever been. And man, my brain snapped. It's like in that moment, I hit rock bottom, because I stepped on the scale. I envisioned like, holy crap, I'm just going to gain 10 pounds a year for the rest of my life until I get to a weight where I can't function. And then I'm going to do something really unhealthy. I'm going to go on the coffee and cigarette diet for a month to lose 20 pounds. And I'm just going to bounce back and forth for the rest of my life. It happened just like that when I stepped on the scale. That was when I called up Katia in that rock bottom moment. I knew she had changed her life, and I believed that she could help me. I called her like, Katia, what do you got? What's this program you're on? I got on the program. She started coaching me with these habits of health, how to put together a lean and green meal once a day. I was eating meal supplements 5 times a day, like protein shakes and crunch bars and things like that. Very formulaic. Bro, I lost 60 pounds in 3 months. Like, wow. Bam, the weight was just falling off. And I ended up being a coach for this program. It was a multi-level marketing program. I ended up being a coach, helping people lose weight for the next probably 5-6 years myself, because my habits had changed. Not because I wasn't eating pizza anymore, not because I couldn't go to the grocery store because I would just buy the wrong stuff, but because internally I had been coached. I'd been following a program, this system to change the inner voice, my inner connection with food. And man, the same thing happened to me with porn, right? I tried to quit porn, I don't know how many hundreds of times when I was 42. Kind of given up on myself. But then I heard you speak at a session where you're talking about how to talk to your kids about porn. I'm like, okay, I got to do something, because I am not willing for my children to go through the same hell that has been my life with porn addiction. Got plugged into the Liberation Boot Camp, started just following the program. It's like, trust the process. Like, okay, I'm going to check boxes. And after about 3 months, like, stuff started to click, and I could recognize like, oh, this is why I go to porn. And if I can fix why, I don't need the porn anymore. I think one of the biggest things that I came away from watching that documentary was how we talk about when we're dealing with addiction, there's a supply side and a demand side. And oftentimes, yes, right, when you're first trying to deal with addiction, the focus generally is always just on the supply side, right? If it's food addiction, porn addiction, it's like, how can I stay away from it? I grew up in the church. Yeah. That was the tool they gave me. Stay away from porn. That was it. Well, the problem was I had porn in my pocket 24/7 on my cell phone, high-speed internet in college. Well, I mean, I didn't grow up with a cell phone. I didn't get my first cell phone until I was like 22. Didn't get my first smartphone until I was like 29, right? But now I have access to porn 24/7 in my pocket. And I know how to get around all of the accountability software, all of the tracking software, right? I figured all that out years ago. So the supply side with porn addiction, it never really stuck. And I think what I took away from this docuseries was they were focused on controlling the supply side of the equation. You take somebody, you put them in this environment, they're away from their normal routine, they're working with a trainer, they're busting their ass in the gym 6, 7, 8 or more hours a day, burning 6,000 plus calories through exercise. They're in a controlled environment where this is what you eat and everybody else is doing the same thing. And it's a competition. Whoever loses the most weight is going to get a check for 250 grand. It's like, okay, that's motivating.
And you're on national television.
You're on national television, right? So all of these supply side focus activities without going deeper on the demand. Now, the demand side. Now, I will say in the documentary, the medical doctor for the show, he was pretty solid. He was like, look, I kept trying to tell them, don't eat less than this calorie count, right? You got to eat this. It's not healthy to be eating 800 calories a day. That's just not healthy. This is what you need to be eating in calories. But it was a competition. It was a competition. You're not going to lose. If I'm eating 1,500 calories and you're eating 800 calories, you're going to win. Which leads me to another point that I heard my trainer talk about a couple of weeks ago. He said, because I was asking about training for something. He said, Yaden, the moment you start training to compete and win, you're not training for your health anymore.
Yep.
And I think about that with the Biggest Loser system, where they were losing weight to win a competition, not to be healthy for the rest of their lives, not to maintain a healthy weight for the rest of their lives. They leave. Sorry, y'all. My mouth is going faster than my brain today. They leave that environment of health. They're right back with their family, their job, their kids. And suddenly you don't have 8 hours a day that you can train. You're not as in control of what food is available to you. And you haven't worked on the demand side of the equation. It doesn't, and you will find a way. If the demand is there, you will find the supply every time. Yeah. Every time. Oh man, monologue over. Sorry, I got up on my soapbox and my chainsaw was revving hard, man. Cutting those logs.
It's good, man. You know, this supply demand conversation was introduced to me by my sponsor in Sex Addicts Anonymous, you know, a couple of years ago. And we were talking about the blockers, you know, and he said, we were talking about him and he said, yeah, he's like, that helps. He's like, that helps with the supply side, but you got to get to the demand side of the equation. You got to get to what's going on inside of you that's driving you to porn. You got to get to what's causing you to reach out for your coping mechanism. Otherwise, as you mentioned, it's like the water's going to find its way through the cracks, you know, somehow.
Yeah, that pressure builds up and builds up to where it's like, you know what? I'm not proud. I'm just going to delete the accountability software and reinstall it and just make it just like, yeah, my phone glitched. Because with a lot of accountability software, you get whoever is watching it gets a note like, hey, Covenant Eyes was just deleted or removed. And like, yeah, my phone was acting up. I had to wipe the whole thing and reload it. And lying to myself, doing all the things, doing all the addict things to justify my actions, because the demand side, I believe, is where real change happens, not on the supply side.
Yep.
Oh man. And you know,
So how does one so how does one go about making that internal change is the question.
Making that internal change is not easy. It's not easy. It takes work. The biggest skill that has been helpful for me in my recovery journey has been my meditation. Meditation. The daily, I was on our community chat in our private Facebook group, the Porn to Purpose. We have a free Facebook group where we do everything we can to support men who are working on their recovery. And I was chatting I think just yesterday, where my comments were, hey, what are you practicing? Or maybe it was a Facebook Live that I did. I can't remember. But my point was, we have to practice when the stakes are low, so that when the stakes are high, we have already put in the work and we know how to handle it. There's a reason why boot camp in the military is the way it is. It's stressful. It's overwhelming. You're getting yelled at. They are putting you in a vice of pressure. You train over and over and over and over. I'm not going to say over 100 times, but you train until you can do things without thinking, blindfolded, upside down. And if you're in the Navy SEALs, you can do all of that underwater, so that when real bullets are flying at you, you don't have to think. You just respond the way you have trained. And that's what I love about meditation. Meditation is for my mind what exercise is for my body. I lift weights. Really, ultimately, my goal with lifting weights is because when I'm 85, when I'm 95, I want to be able to stand up all by myself. I want to be able to walk up and down stairs without worrying about falling. I want to be able to go for a walk with my grandkids or great grandkids, walk around Disney World for a day, just be able to do that. So I'm putting in the reps now so that when I need to be active, I can be active. I have the capacity to be active. And I put in the reps mentally with my meditation, practicing that awareness. I call it the awareness muscle. Exercising my awareness muscle to notice what is going on inside my head. What is the story that the DJ just started spinning with the volume cranked to 11? What are the emotions happening right now? What is actually going on? And to go even one level deeper, it's like, okay, all this is going on. What is the need that I have? I love the acronym HALT: hungry, angry, lonely, tired. And have I just not eaten all day? Oh, that's why I'm frustrated and upset. Have I only gotten 4 hours of sleep a night for this week? It's like, oh, no wonder I don't feel good. No wonder I feel bad and want to reach for the pain pill. Am I in an argument with my spouse? Did I have a blow up with my kids? Right? Building that awareness muscle to the point where I can see what's happening in real time and respond, instead of just going through life and then waking up one day being like, man, I'm really jonesing for Pornhub today. Building that awareness muscle. And the tools that I learned in the Liberation Boot Camp, the reading, the reflections, the practice of the daily core 4 habits, journaling, meditation, reading, exercise, they are all the work that I do on a daily basis now to build that awareness muscle so that I can see days ahead of time. I can notice like, oh, man, I just felt attacked in this conversation. Am I attacked? Am I under attack? No, that's just a story in my head. I'm okay. I'm safe. Why do I feel it? Oh, you know what? I feel attacked because I didn't sleep good last night. I didn't get a good night's sleep. I'm going to take a nap, or maybe I can't take a nap. I'm going to make sure that I go to bed 30 minutes early or get up 30 minutes later tomorrow, whatever I need to do to fill that need, so that those needs don't stack up to the point where the demand is so great for a fix that I will go wherever I have to find the supply.
Yep.
Right?
That's it, brother.
Man.
So where do we learn more about this Liberation Boot Camp?
Liberation Boot Camp, man, here's the deal. Married men, I'm talking to you. If you're married, I'm gonna be real with you, right? I'm married, coming up on 20 years. Porn was my darkest secret in my marriage. If it's a dark secret in your marriage, you're not alone. You're not alone. We have the Liberation Boot Camp. It's a 6-month program. We can help. You can get tools and resources and support and safety where you can learn why this ever started. How did this start in your life? You can start to build this awareness muscle to build true recovery instead of just white-knuckling it over and over and over again without lasting success. You can check it out at porntopurpose.com. You can learn about it. There's a link. We also have resources on there that are free. We just want you to have them. You can get the Freedom Framework, download it. It'll take you through the 4-rack formula, which is a tool that we teach in the boot camp to use when you're faced with the pull. And brother, I realize this is a touchy subject. And it takes courage just to even reach out. You can find me on Facebook. I'm easy to find, Yaden Smith. Shoot me a private message. Send me a private message. Find Matt Sinkovitz. Find us on Facebook. We have the Facebook group. Send us a private message, totally confidential. You can reach out with safety, confidence, knowing that it's a safe space. Send us a private message. Let's just have a conversation. Yep. See if there's something that we can do to help, whether it's the Liberation Boot Camp or just a safe place to share what's going on. We want to support you in this recovery journey.
Amen.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
and on that note, yeah. This is the real stuff, right?
Yeah.
Food addiction shows up on the outside.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You walk around with the food addiction results. Porn addiction eats away at us on the inside. We don't, there's no sleeve marking on your arm that says, "Oh, porn addict." It's a dark place. And men, we want you to have freedom. We want you to have victory over this and live in freedom to go from porn to purpose. So if this resonates with you, send one of us a private message. We'd love to have a conversation with you to start the dialogue, to see where you are and how we can help, how we can serve. And on that note, sorry, y'all, it's kind of been the Yaden diatribe today. It's
been good.
Because I'm passionate about food. I'm passionate. Yeah. I'm passionate about addiction recovery. I was about to say I'm passionate about food and passionate about porn, but that would not what I meant. Not what I meant. I'm passionate about men living in freedom and being in control of their own destiny. That's what I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
All right,
Yaden, thanks for bringing your passion here today, brother. And thanks, brothers, for tuning in.
Man, we'll catch you on the next episode. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yes.
Peace. Power.
Boom. Double men. Thanks, guys.